All right, let's check this flight out, see what we can do. All right, let's see what we got. All right, y'all, here we go. Darn safe. Up it's not. Bishop. Bishop. Bishop, come here. Good boy. All right, you ready? Woohoo! Successful flight, y'all. Successful flight, successful land. There we go. There we go. Check it out. Check it out. Hey. Yep. Hey, stop that. Fishy. Fishy. What happened? All right, y'all. I don't know what happened to this takeoff landing, but all right, here we go. Shit. It's not taking off.
safe. I don't want it on safe. This is safe. I don't want it on safe, so that's what I want. Full throttle. Elevator up. Safe. Alright. Throttle's on. So had a little crash, the battery is dead, I guess, or something, I don't really know, but I got some repairs to do already. I didn't bring anything out here to no power.
All right, let me take the battery out.
Bishop.
Hot too. coordinates off. All right, y'all. Missing nose cone, no ordnance. Let's see if we can get it back in it. Throttle's off right now. Safe is off. Everything seems to be working fine.
All right, let's go. Number 3. Definitely feel like I'm getting better at this job. Must be some high winds up there, y'all.
Woohoo! All right, y'all, I'm gonna call it quits.
All right, y'all. That was a success. I'm happy. Finally flew it without many issues. Just had a battery die once on me, which time went off, and I guess I got to reset the timer to 3 minutes instead of 5. But thing flew great. Hopefully, I got some good footage of it. Ain't nobody here to help me. I'm just doing it on my own. Got to fix the nose. That's all good. No issues. Looks like the gear needs to get fixed a little bit too. Other than that, it looks like a little dirt, and everything else is in good condition, so I'm happy. All right, y'all. Peace. Oh, I got to fix my... Yeah, I'll show you. Got to fix this, but that's going to be easy fix. Just super glue it back up in there, maybe use the Gorilla Glue. All right, y'all. See the flight log. Ready, Bishop? Ready to go? All right. I'm back, y'all. Piece of that. So, got everything fixed up. It's just the nose gear. Take a look at it. Right here. I didn't get to wipe off the excess glue that spilled out before it dried up, so I might have to sand that up just to make it look a little smooth. Either way, it's back together. This is glued back on, no issues. It was just easy, put it in on the bottom here. And then slide it back. So we got both of the landing gear. Oh yeah, the landing gear needs to be bent forward a little bit more. And that's just a hand thing. Alright. So we're good there. Let me go ahead and take this battery out since it's going to need to get charged. Let's see what it's sitting at. So, you remember the crash, literally, I mean, you didn't see it, but the battery died. So this thing has a timer on it that you can set, but it's automatically set for 5 minutes, and I should have set mine for 3 because that's what it says in the book here. Oh, shoot. This thing on. Sorry I didn't have my mic on. Hopefully you heard everything I said though. All I was saying was I fixed the nose. I fixed the bomb tank, whatever you want to call it, missile tank. So that was all I needed to fix. I took the battery out. So what I found out was that on the one where I crashed, and it wasn't a real bad crash, it was just when it came down, it was just coming down a little bit too fast, and it, you know, the back gears hit, then the front gear hit, and it, you know, flipped up a little bit. which is how the nose broke and how the gear bent and how this thing came off. Anyway, so on the controller, you can set it a timer for like 5 minutes or so, and I also figured out how to set the telemetry to tell me what the battery, what the battery level is. So the timer was set to 5 minutes, and I think the book recommends 3 minutes. So when 5 minutes came around, it beeped, and I was like, oh, okay, cool, because I've seen videos where, people were flying and it beeped, and it, they kind of had another way, they could go another round or whatever. So anyway, there was no going around again for me. It was like, I'm done. So I pretty much, the throttle cut off, and I pretty much just had to like glide it in as best as I could, and it didn't do too bad. So I'm not upset about that at all. So I don't think I can look at the log from here. At least I don't know how to look at the log from these controllers just yet. And I think it has to be connected. Let me see if I can go to the... Yeah, I don't know. But anyway, what I noticed was that with previous flights, I was oversteering to the left or right, pushing too much elevator and too much aileron. So elevator is back here in the back, aileron is up here by the wing. And if those of y'all who don't know, you gotta be careful with flying this or anything, right? Because you think about, playing video games, when you think about up and down, you think when you want to jump on a fighting game, you push up. When you want to duck, you push down. Well, with a airplane, it doesn't really work that way, because what happens is when you push down, the elevators go up, and when the elevators go up, there's pressure that's being pressed on this back portion of the aircraft, and the center of gravity is up here. So when the back portion has more pressure pushing it downward, back here it lifts the nose up, right? So same thing in reverse. When you hit this joystick up, this elevator goes down, real stabilizer goes down, and when it goes down, there's air pressure that's pushed more on the back end, which lifts the back end up and tips the nose down, right? So you got to be careful, because intuitively, like, you think, especially when it's fast reaction stuff, right? You got to think. You got a quick second to react, so you got to know what you're doing, pretty much. The first few flights I had, first flight wasn't actually too bad, but after that, it was like crash. Couldn't even land, couldn't even take off. But it's because you instinctively think forward or up on the joystick is to go up and down is to go down, and that's not the case. And, you know it in your mind, because especially me, like, I know the concepts of flight just through engineering, but again, it's intuitive when you're used to doing something a certain way. Like, you have to think about it in a quick second. You end up doing what your mind is used to until you get used to something different. So anyway, just keep that in mind. What I also noticed was that you can set some rates and exponential rates on your controller, which basically says that if you, for your aileron and your elevator and your rudder, which I should have done that for my rudder, and I didn't, and I'll tell you how I know that in a second. But when you push the joystick left or right, just slightly, when you have a higher exponential rate, these are in percentages, right? You can go from negative 100% to 100%. The higher the percentage in the positive direction, the less reaction that the aircraft is going to have with small movements. Of course, when you go all the way to the right or left, then it's going to go to the full extent, as long as you have the dual rate set for that full extent. And dual rate is just when, for instance, you have this aileron. If you want it to go fully up or fully down, that's 100%, right? And negative 100%. Same thing with the elevator. If you want to go fully up or fully down, that's plus or minus 100 or whatever. So that's the dual rate. That's the extent of which the servo is going to travel for that, flap, so to speak, or rudder, or whatever it is. Same thing for the, I mean, they don't have a dual rate setting for the thrust. At least I haven't seen it yet. But the concept would be that, 100% would be full, right? Whereas the exponential rate is more of a, how sensitive is it going to be, when you make a movement, right? So negative number is going to be more sensitive, higher positive number is going to be less sensitive. And so that's what I needed to adjust to my settings in order to get this thing up in the air and not like overreact, right? So even if I did overreact, it wasn't going to be too soon, and I was going to be able to correct it in times because this wasn't going to have an output to the airplane too quickly, right? So that's another thing. I also had an issue where there was trim that was needed, but I wasn't, I haven't been flying that long, so I had to remember which one was the elevator trim because it kept like going upwards when I wasn't touching anything, and so I had touched the wrong button and pushed my trim up or down. I can't remember which one it is for the elevator, and so it was kind of climbing more than it should have when it was supposed to be level, and I kept trying to adjust that, and that took a minute. But the other thing is that you can set these switches up here. Like I kept, so what I did was when I took off, I had safe off because I didn't want to limit safe select. I didn't want to limit my my elevator at all, right? So I probably could have taken off with it, but I wanted to do it quicker because my runway was a little bit short. So safe select is basically when the plane limits the range of movement for your aileron and your elevator, so that way you don't overreact. It's kind of like another safety. So you got the exponentials, that's kind of like a safety, and then you got the actual the safe select. And the difference between the expo and the safe select is that the expo doesn't limit your full range, it just limits how quickly the exponential limits how quickly little adjustments will be delivered to the airplane, right? But your maximum range, your minimum range is always going to be there unless you set it differently for your dual rate. Safe select, on the other hand, at least my understanding of it is, it limits the range that your aileron and shutter, aileron and elevator or stabilizer will go. So that's, I don't know what the exact number is, but it might be like 75% or 50%, right? And so that kind of helps you not overreact, so to speak, when you go to turn right or left. So those are safety factors. And then there's the AS3X, which is the stabilizer, which basically means that if there's little things that happen in the air that cause the airplane to go left, right, up, or down, pitch yaw, whatever, it's gonna auto-correct to get it level. And so it only understands what level is based off of the orientation when you first turn it on. So when you first turn it on, you have to give it 5 seconds to understand that this is level, and then it knows that, okay, this is, the gyro knows that this is where I need to be for level. And so when you make adjustments, or when you move the aircraft left or right, up or down, then the ailerons and the elevators will move accordingly to get it to move in the opposite direction. All right, so that's pretty cool. Yeah. So what I realized is, I don't know if you're gonna see in the videos, but I took off a few times or tried to a couple of times, and the airplane would go over to the right. Now, the rudder is controlled with the throttle on the same side. So if I push up on the throttle and I'm pushing to the right, it's going to automatically go to the right. So at first I thought it was just like a steering issue, or that just needed a better alignment, and maybe it did, and that's why I tried to set the trim, which kind of messed up something else because I moved the wrong trim button. These little buttons over here are trim. And trim is just little minor adjustments, left, right, up, or down on whatever servo you're working with, right? So what I didn't realize at the time was what I should have done was increase my exponential for the rudder, which I didn't touch at all because like, oh, I'm not gonna worry about that because I'm just gonna go straight, and I didn't think, oh well, when I push the throttle, I might move the button, move the joystick right or left. So then I should have increased that exponential probably to like 30 or 50% or something. So that way it would not have moved, at least not from me. Just pushing the throttle up. So that's something to keep in mind. There's probably some things I should have done beforehand as well. Like I didn't do the test where what's it called, range test, and I probably should have done that. I think I saw some issues where I thought that maybe I lost control of the aircraft because it didn't, I don't know, get a signal. Maybe it was just winds. I'm not sure. Either way, I'm glad that I didn't lose control. So, I probably should have done that, and I probably could have, done I don't know. I probably could have done a few things a little differently with setting up the knobs, but I'm just kind of getting used to everything, so I'll figure it out as I go. One of the things I wanted to show you was, sorry, let me step up here. So I'm not sure if you can see me right now, but here's the controller. And so with the and here's the battery. It's actually charging. You might not be able to see this little charger right here. It tells me everything I need to know. 26 left remaining on this one, and I'll charge this after that and see what that was at. I don't know if it was low or not, but I'm imagining it was. So yeah, like, I don't know what else to say. Let me move back over here. Anyway, it was pretty exciting to fly it and be successful flying it. I watched a couple more videos to try to like wrap my head around, how to properly land, because that was one of my concerns, was like, how the heck am I gonna land? And then once I started, I'd watched videos before, and I understand, understand the concepts, but going over it again and again, and then just practicing in my head, like, okay, remember, down means up on the right joystick. So no matter what I'm doing, if I need to go up, press the joystick back or down. And if I don't want to come down, press it up. So like I had to remember that. Setting up the rates, the exponential rates, helped a whole lot because it helps correction, and understanding how the safe works helps a whole lot. So anyway, again, successful flight. Not sure what else to show you all. Like, oh, this actually has a battery. AAA or AA batteries is what it came with, but I went ahead and bought the what do you call it? The rechargeable battery. So there's a little knob right here that you can pull up to stick the cable in to charge it and stuff. It's not the same charger as that. It's a different charger. Just a regular wall plug. It gives a lot more range or time. Well, range because it has better power. And it's a lithium-ion battery. A lot of people online, said it was a LiPo battery, which is what this is. But this is not a LiPo battery. It's a lithium-ion. Anyway, it tells you, how much battery power you have, whereas the AA batteries, I don't think it did that. And it gives you longer time, and it's rechargeable, so you don't have to keep buying AA batteries. So that's also a plus. But the only thing I can say really is just make sure you practice these controls. Make sure you learn like the concepts of flight and what's important about how to maneuver and how to land. And yeah, I think that, and make sure you have an open field. Like that helped me out a lot. First time I tried to fly, it was an open space, but it was surrounded by trees. I mean, a big open space, right? But there's still a lot of trees around, and I ended up going over the tree and into another tree, and that's was my first flight. So this technically was not my first flight. But I was in an open field in Washington Park, which was very, very wide open. Like I could see the plane, no issues. Nobody was really out there. People had just finished playing softball and they were at a distance, so it didn't really matter. Um, and they weren't out there in teams. They were just kind of hanging out, talking. So I'm pretty sure they were watching me fly. I'm pretty sure they were watching me fly. This Sony camera, man, is an overheating issue, I guess. I thought there was ways to get around it, and like updating firmware and some other things, but if you know, please let me know. I got a Sony A6000 and I got a Sony A7 II, which is not what I'm using right now. Which reminds me, I recorded video on putting this together between both of the cameras, and the other camera I forgot to put the shutter speed up high enough so that the frame rate I was using would be smooth. So it's, you're not gonna get the full video of me putting it together. All good though. If you want to see that, you probably can see it on the Instagram live, but it's like 2 hours because it took me forever just to get like one of the screws in on the wing. So the battery is a 4S 2200 14.8 volt, 2200 milliamp 14.8 volt battery, 30C. So it's pretty decent. So basically, if you understand batteries at all, what happens is if you the 4S is kind of like representative of like 4 cells. So like if you felt this, you'd feel like 4 cells. You got 2S's, 2 cells, 6S with the 6 cells, so forth and so on. Of course, the voltage, you can't really, like the voltage is how much power you're going to get pretty much. And so if you have an ESC or a motor that can only withstand a certain amount of voltage, you can't go above that, right? You can go below it and hopefully you get enough power to do what you need to do. It probably won't last as long, but you want to try to max it, get at the max voltage if you can. 2200 milliamps, if you got something that was like 3200 or 1200, so 3200 is higher, that means it's going to last a little bit longer, and 1200 is lower. And just basically the rate that the ampage gets used, milliamps get used. So 2200 milliamps, that's how many milliamps get used per hour. And so this size battery for this aircraft, you're gonna get about 4 minutes or so worth of flying. That's why they say set a timer for 3 minutes, not 5, because it's done at 5. And I think I might have been fully charged. So 30C is also the capacity, so it's like if you get a higher capacity, then it should last longer. But I'm not sure if capacity and the milliamps like go hand in hand or not. But I do know that if I got a 4S 3200 milliamp versus a 2200 milliamp, then that battery should last longer. The 3200 should last longer. Or if it's a 50C versus a 30C, I think that actually means that I can give more power at once. Like when I go full throttle or whatever, it'll allow it to the power to sustain for a longer period of time, I think is what the 30C represents. Again, I'm just kind of talking off of what I've seen off of videos, not based on research or actual like education, which I should probably know just because I did do some electrical engineering classes back in the day. Anyway, so yeah, I got 2 of these. They also have a Gen 2 battery, which doesn't have this lead right here that's basically for gathering information on your battery. There's a lead in the middle, a gray wire, that sends that data to and from the charger and ESC and all that good stuff. So I didn't get the Gen 2 batteries, and I think they are a little bit cheaper, to be honest, like maybe a couple dollars cheaper. But either way, I think like they're both fine, they're both good to use. So anyway, I think that's all I have for now. I can't wait to fly this thing again now that I know that I can fly it. So thank y'all for watching. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me. I want to say, like, adults, children, like, especially children, like, get your children involved in things like this that get them outside and get them understanding, learning, different things about, whether it's RC cars, remote control cars, or remote control airplanes, because they're not just playing with toys, right? Especially if you're an adult who understands it and is going to teach them. Like, you're going to teach them, how to fix it. You're going to teach them how the pieces work. You're going to, they're going to learn about telemetry and how data works. They're going to learn about, how signaling works a little bit, here and there. Maybe not to a T, but they're going to have a general understanding of it, like the basics of flight. They're gonna understand that. So, like, get kids involved at an early age, because it's gonna be beneficial to them when they get older. And the more that the like, even if it's just general topic, right? Not necessarily a subject matter expert, or specialty, but the more you know, the like more marketable you are, and just it's just better for you in general. So I think that get your kids involved, and for those adults that are interested, and maybe you just kind of like set out on it for a while and didn't really, get into it like you wanted to. Like, if you got the time, you got the money, go ahead and check it out. And if you got any questions, I mean, I'm just starting myself, but there's a lot of videos out there. I'm doing my research, so I can always help you as well. All right. Peace out.